Good morning, everyone. The lights are flashing as we just come into the stream, and Ads has just dropped a host. The audio is good. Everything is good. Nice. Ads, thank you very much for the host. Good morning. Welcome into the stream. Let me refresh the lighting in the room. Oh, there we go. It slowed down because Robo Daniel has just dropped a host after I'd fixed it and broken it again. God damn it. But thank you for the host. Appreciate it. Good morning. Welcome in everyone to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham D. And this man is the man that we call B.
Hello.
You've still got blue light on there, babe. That's not ice cream purple. God's sake.
I'm sure I can put that on like a little timer or something. There we go.
Hey. There we go. Oh, okay. My lights are good. They're back to normal. Nice. But anyway, welcome in. We are back on Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice creamy fashion, this is the scoop, your daily dose of the... Your daily dose. It's not the first time I've said that. That's like the second time I've said that in like the last week. So your daily dose of news from the world of video games and beyond. We're going to give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest and the best breaking stories from the world of video games. And we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. If you are here with us live, and Vern with a host, this time with 67 viewers. Welcome in everyone from the Cyborg Arena. I may have been sat in there watching him pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Did you see Baby's response to my response, Vern? I know you watched mine. Did you see Baby's too? Yeah, busy morning. Nice. No, actually, really busy this morning, but I still found time to do that, so you are welcome. Check out Vern, by the way. If you haven't dropped in Vern streams before, if you want to see someone that's nice and chill playing Pez, well, I say nice and chill. It depends on the Pez, but, you know, if you want to see someone that's having fun, then jump in there. As mentioned, we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. Ish. It's 10:11. 10:11.
Yeah.
It's 11:26. Although busy morning this morning, I did have a bunch of things to do. And then, just as we were about to go live, my internet had shit itself, so I had to like fiddle around with my power line adapters to get myself enough internet to bring you this. So joyful morning. But if you are with us in the chat, I see you're all using your voices already, which is lovely. Feel free to use your voices as we continue through the stream, because this is a live stream, but we do turn it into a podcast, a YouTube video and audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So if you are in the chat, use your voice on behalf of everyone watching and listening on demand a little bit later on. Nice. A couple of things to mention.
Jordan's just redeemed 75,000 sprinkles.
Okay. Do you know what? I will come back to that in just a second. Before we do, a couple of things to mention. First of all, ! Loot drop. If you're a subscriber, there has been a lot of gifties over the last week or two. So if you're a subscriber and you haven't joined our Discord, well, do it. Discord will give you the link. But if you have done that, make sure that your Twitch and your Discord accounts are linked, because then you can get free prizes each and every month. ! Loot drop gives you the info of that. The other one, ! Insert coin. We are part of the Insert Coin family. I'm wearing my Insert Coin hoodie right now, actually. This is my Ghost of Tsushima. I say hoodie, it's my full sweatpant collection, like lounge tracksuit, whatever you want to call it, and it's comfy as fuck, so there you go. ! Insert coin if you want any info on that. So Jordan has just used his channel points. If anyone doesn't know what channel points are, we have the infomercial, which is the little video that plays at the start of the stream. Thanks to Bateson and Manny for being in that as well, by the way. Lovely people. That mentions that if you're a subscriber, you get the benefits like the loot drop and things like that. But if you're not able to subscribe, we do have channel points. All channels on Twitch usually have channel points if they've activated them. Ours allow you to do things like tell me to sit up straight, posture check, or you can make me wear a level 3 helmet when I'm playing a game of PUBG, which is extremely comfortable and not at all irritating. But we also have some mega expensive ones. If you're around for long enough and you can't afford a sub, we will pay for your sub as long as you've got the channel points to do that. But Jordan has just spent 75,000 channel points on a scoop dedication. I believe that's the first time that's ever been used on the channel as well.
As well as Precision yesterday used his social shout out, so we created the tweet for him.
I didn't even retweet that one. I'm going to go back and retweet. So Precision will get 2 days of social shout-out. What a guy. So yeah, the Scoop dedication. Basically, this is the Scoop, our daily news show. And the Scoop dedication is we will dedicate the Scoop to whoever you want, providing it's within TOS and stuff. So yes, Jordan, who would you like the Scoop dedicated to? You or someone else? What we're saying? Do tell me. Let me jump back through the chat, though, as things are popping now. Robert Daniel says first. You were definitely first. Good morning, Gagad. Who says good morning? Good afternoon for Daniel, because obviously he's in the Netherlands, so he's an hour ahead. So it is afternoon for him. Morning, Enix. Morning, Yeehaw. Morning, Lake. Morning, Ads. Who the fuck is that guy? It's me. Morning, Mr. Gary Clark. Vern with the mega host this year as well. Tito, shout out the Vernimator. There we go. Cheers, Tito. What a guy. Have a good stream, fellas. I'm going to activate lurk mode while working. Thank you very much once again for the lurk. Appreciate that as well.
Hero.
As the mega host. Shout out to DTA Ekez? E-K-E-Z? Ekez? Eeks? I don't know. Thank you for the follow. Feel free to correct me and I will try to get your name right going forward. But DTA, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in. Podcast, stream, peep show, says Yeehaw, maybe. Maybe. Delayed. Didn't know this was Cyberpunk. Carson's going to do a flex now. And redeems the posture check. Okay, I apologise. I will sit up. As you can tell, not the greatest posture. Oh, I've bits on me. Sitting up straight lets me know that I have fluff on me, so there is that too. Nice. Tito redeemed ask a question. What's the meaning of life, Bib?
Games arrive in day one that don't require a 40 gigabyte patch. Didn't nail that one.
Is that the meaning of life, though? That's the
absolutely.
That's an aim of life.
That's the very definition. That's the very definition.
I think you'll find
not wasting time.
The meaning of life, the universe, and everything is actually 42, as defined by the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So the meaning of life, the universe, and everything is 42. So there you go. There's the answer to your question. Google it. Google it. I think it used to be one of those. Does it actually? Does it come? It used to come up with like, do you know, like certain things like Google would come up with the answer. It's come up with a wiki page now, but. The meaning of life, the universe, and everything is 42, according to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So there you go. Question answered. 42, or a game with all of the patches installed on day one. There you go. Myself, please, because I got you that win yesterday. You did, to be fair. You got the last kill, so I'll give you that one. Shout out to Mr. Enix XIII, as in 13 in Roman numerals. Ex-member of Team ICU, the all-time gifted sub leader on the ICU scoreboards. Not that we keep track of the scoreboards, but they're literally just there over the chat. So there you go. 30 gifted subs in the channel. Thank you very much, Enix, for that level of support.
Hero.
Long-time veteran of the video games industry, working in esports since day one, and still working his ass off now. So shout out to Enix. Feel free to go drop a follow on his channel if you want to see some Halo Enix fun times. Helix, nice. Just merge the words together. Nice. Kulan, welcome in, dude. Welcome back. Exclamation mark, look. Kulan takes a seat at the back of the ice cream van. I love that. I love that command. I know I rate it, so it's a little bit of a humble brag, but there you go. Had someone look at my portfolio and respond saying they found a clip really funny, and it's when me and Connor were streaming the Blackout beta and we got that win. It's not the dolphin laugh ones then.
Yeah. What is that noise?
Mr. T, good morning-ish. Welcome
Morning,
in.
Shagger.
Welcome in. Tito says the correct answer is 42. Everyone knows that. We do now. If they didn't, they do now. Didn't know someone gifted me a sub. Let's go. That was Enix. There you go. So the guy who's just redeemed the 75k channel points to have the sub dedication is the guy that gave that gifted, just as I was talking about it as well. So there you go. Enjoy the gifted sub. As mentioned, Kulan, exclamation mark loot drop. If you're not in the Discord already, if you have Discord, then you could get yourself a free prize. We do something called the loot drop the first Monday of every month, which is actually the Monday coming, the 1st of February. We will be doing a giveaway. This month's giveaway is for a piece of Ice Cream Uploads merchandise of your choice. So we have a Gamers Apparel merch store, exclamation mark merch in the chat. And if you are the winner of the loot drop, only subs get entered, so the chances of winning are much higher than most other social giveaways. So if you are the winner of it, then you could get yourself a piece of merch of your choice. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Do you know what? We've been talking for a little bit already, so Bibby, I don't even care how you are. So Bibby, are you fine? Yes,
fine,
he's
mate.
fine. I'm fine as well. We're all fine. Let's go. So we have a story that follows on from a story that finished the show yesterday. We confirmed what the PlayStation Plus games are gonna be for February. Some cool games in there. Nice. High fives all round. There's absolutely nothing that could go wrong as a result of everyone getting free games, is there? Oh, wait. Maybe there is. Maybe there is. Let's jump into this discussion then. I'll bring it on screen for you guys right now. As Tom Phillips at Eurogamer says, Control Ultimate Edition owners call for refunds after news of PS5 launch via PS Plus. Bureau d'échange is the tagline. Owners of Control's Ultimate Edition have called for refunds on PlayStation 5, where the next-gen version of Remedy's stylish shooter will now launch as part of February's PS Plus lineup. Some fans say they purchased the Ultimate Edition alongside their PS5 and have never downloaded or played Control on a PS4. The Ultimate Edition, as you may recall, is the recent version of Control, which unlocks the shiny new next-gen edition on the 2nd of February. Now these fans, who in some cases double-dipped on a second copy of the game to get its next-gen upgrade, have asked for their purchases to be refunded, since the first time they will get to play it on PS5 will be the same day it launches via PS Plus. The next-gen version had been slated to arrive before Christmas, but in November was delayed until 2021. There's additional disquiet from fans who point out that Control's Ultimate Edition was on sale earlier in January, something which will have driven sales of the game only a few weeks before its announcement as a PS Plus title, though this is not the first time such things have happened. The tweets don't format correctly from Eurogamer when they're embedded in the article, but I'll just read this through. It might pop up again as well. So this is from Tug Speedman, what a name, at the Kevin Franzen. Bought Control Ultimate Edition, merging my words together, Cultimate, there we go. Bought Control Ultimate Edition on January the 11th, 21. Never downloaded, wanted to wait for the PS5 version in Feb. Now announced it's free for PS Plus for Feb, yet Sony won't honour my refund because it's been more than 14 days. It's actually been 16 days. Remedy/Sony, what a ridiculous anti-consumer policy. Me too. I was cynical of Ready Games 505 Games to put Ultimate on sale the month before taking Sony's money to put Ultimate in PS Plus, especially for fans who had to buy the game twice already. Remember screwing over some of their biggest fans twice is pretty cold, says Where is Aaron. So whether a customer is granted a refund is the decision of the platform holder, such as PlayStation, rather than the developer or publisher, in this case Remedy or 505 Games. PlayStation Store has a 14-day refund policy for game purchases, add-ons, and other content, provided you've not begun downloading or streaming the content in question. For pre-orders, you can cancel at any point up until the game launches, or up to 14 days after if you have not begun downloading or streaming it. The Control Ultimate Edition is a bundle item containing both PS4 and PS5 version, and which launched last September. However, some fans have argued that as the release date for the PS5 part of this bundle has yet to be reached, they are still entitled to a refund under PlayStation's pre-order rules. As yet, there's no suggestion PlayStation agrees with this interpretation of its policies. We've contacted PlayStation, Remedy, and 505 Games for more, and clearly they've not responded because there's nothing in the article. So there you go. Control Ultimate Edition is free as of next week for anyone that has PS Plus. I think was it exclusive to PS5 or was it exclusive to
no?
I just mean on PS Plus. I know some things have been exclusive, like Maneater and things like that. I know that Destruction All Stars, which is another game that comes free next week, is PS5. Control Ultimate Edition, maybe PS4 too. But that's great news unless you've already bought it, as a lot of people have. But what are your thoughts on this?
This is hugely unfortunate, I think, is the grand scheme of it. I don't think this would have been that much of an issue if this game had already been available. Like, people had to rebuy it again to be able to play it on your PS5, like with the upscaled res, the complete edition, so you can play it on your PS5, PS4, with all the new upscalings and whatever else, Game of the Year edition. So you get all the DLC that came with it. That wouldn't have been bad if you could actually play it 2 months ago when your console launched. But the fact that you had to rebuy it again, then it got delayed, and now now it's coming, but at the same time it's dropping onto the PlayStation Plus for free. So I haven't bought it. I wanted to play it, but I haven't bought it. But now I get the opportunity, the same opportunity as somebody else has, despite having to pay £30 for it. And now, granted, the version that's going to be coming to PlayStation Plus, I don't think is like the complete version. So you probably won't get the DLCs and stuff, but you can still play it on your PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 should you want to. It's very, very harsh. I mean, they would have known that this would have been coming to PlayStation Plus at some point. Maybe not as soon as it has, or maybe they did know and they just tried to get as much money as they possibly could. But my opinion is that this game is still yet to come out. It's still classed as a pre-order. Fair enough. The expiry date has exceeded because you can still play this on your PlayStation 4. But if you've never had a PlayStation 4 and you bought this to play on your PlayStation 5, then surely you're entitled to get your money back because it's still classed as a pre-order now. I think if it had already come out 2 months ago, that's a different thing. But the fact that you can't play it on your PlayStation 5 at the moment for the PlayStation 5 version that you wanted to, that's the grey area.
Yeah, I mean that's the difficulties of this. If anyone's bought it way back in November or whether it was first supposed to come out or whatever, and downloaded it and played it on their PS4, okay, I get that your PS5 part is pre-ordered, but for me, you've also still played the game. You've had a lot of time enjoying that, and you haven't bought it for the PS5 Element headset stand, so I just need to plug it in. You haven't bought it for the PS5 Element. You've had something in that sort of time frame. At this point, that's not necessarily a pre-order. But yeah, the difficulties is, what if you already have the game? What if you've bought that just for the PS5 pre-order? And if that came out in November, there's no question then. You've got the game, it's pre-ordered, and then it went on sale afterwards, as everything ever does. When things have been out for a long time and there's no demand for it, the supply's increased, the price drops, people want to get rid of stock. Jobs are good, and I mean, obviously, digital, the same sort of thing. It's not a case of stock, but there's less demand for it, so the price drops anyway. That's fine. If people bought it in January, and played it then and want a refund now because the price has dropped, that's irrelevant. You bought it, you played it, and the price has dropped. Prices do drop. You go into any game store, and you can, well, not now, but you can buy the latest console, and then you go 2 weeks later and they'll add extra games to the bundle. It's just the chance of when you buy it. That's just retail. The fact that the price has changed at your detriment, that's tough. Okay, whatever, the fact it's dropped and so on. But I do have an issue with that, the next gen bit. I do agree with that. The fact that someone tried to get a refund on day 16 of a 14-day refund policy. Oh, it's only 2 days outside. That's outside. You know by yourself. There is no there is no grey area. It's black and white. 14 days. In that sort of sense, if you're talking about just straight refunds, I want my money back. It's outside. But then that's not the grey area. The grey area for me is, have you played it? If you haven't played it, and you're basically paying for something as a pre-order that's coming free to everyone else, then there is difficulties in there. There was a comment in the chat from Asim. Where was it? It's gone off the screen now. The point he made was about a PR story. So there we go. 2 sides to this. Actually, let me stop before that. I've just seen something else. Gary says, this is getting out of control. Surely they have to find a remedy. Robo Daniel says, where do I get one like yours? One like this? One like my hat? We still need to arrange that. Basically, these aren't through any provider. These are through someone else that we sourced. So if you meant this, then they are still on the radar for us to buy more of these style of hats. So we will get more of these so people can actually buy them. But yeah, jumping back down. He says, as the chat rolls, there we go. Ask him 2 sides to this one. 1, they could give refunds and turn it into a good PR story. 2, if they do, it sets a precedent of giving refunds if/when a game comes to PS Plus. I bought Concrete Genie not long ago. Should I get a refund? Enix says, I bought a few games which then next day came on Game Pass, but Xbox has a top refund service, so got my money back. Gary says, the whole story is a bit of a non-starter in my opinion. Like, if I buy a game for Shop2 for 40 quid and then it gets added to PS Plus, should I get a refund? Of course not. Asim says, I agree with Gary, but a lot of the game community has this false sense of entitlement. Pop in today, eh, fellas? Says Chappers. It's been a good week. Thanks to we have some lovely friends that have helped spread ICU's face around, so it's nice. Mr. T says, harsh as that sounds, like in most things at retail level, online or offline, things will get discounted. Sometimes quickly, sometimes not so quickly. Another example, I bought Immortals for £52 around its launch. It went down to £30 odd a week or so later. Just the look of how it goes. Sorry for me, this would set a precedent I don't particularly like. Jordan agrees, saying gamers get way too entitled. I feel it's why microtransactions are prevalent in the industry. Coolan says, noob question. I'm a noob at Discord. How do I find you there? Hey, Bibby's already typed it in. There you go. Nice. I've got Cyberpunk. Should I get a refund? You should get every penny you paid for it back. Oh no, we paid for it. I mean, I've got Cyberpunk and it's sat in a drawer. There you go.
I've just seen Gary there says, if I buy a sweatshirt from Nike for £60 and get it discounted to 25 a day later, tough shit. I disagree with that, because if you've not wore it and you have the receipt, you can take it back and get a full refund for it, and then buy it again at a smaller price. That's the difference. I think if you've bought this game for the PlayStation 5 version, you've not even booted it up, and you've just got it there waiting for the pre-order to run out, I do think that you should be able to get a refund for that, because it's technically not come out yet. There shouldn't be a refund policy on that. What about if it gets delayed again for another 4 months? Does that mean that they've just got your money and you can't wait 4 months? I think that's a completely different scenario. If you've played it, tough shit. But yeah, if you've not played it and you're waiting for the PlayStation 5 version, I think that's slightly different.
Yeah, I think there's Hosted Radio. Thank you very much for the host. As your name suggests, we appreciate it. Welcome in. I think the issue is the nuance. I completely agree with what Gary and Asim are saying in principle, in terms of if you buy something, and so let's say with Gary's version of buying the sweatshirt from Nike for £60 and it gets discounted 25 days a day later. If he takes it home and puts it on and wears it and it's gone down in price, okay, that's you've worn it, you've used it, you opted in, you went through a contract of sale to buy that. Obviously, you didn't sign anything, but every transaction is a contract. You are contracting yourself to pay. Someone contracts to give you the product. Ta-da! So by buying it, you're contracting yourself into it. If it gets discounted, well, you agreed at the contract at that particular time. It is what it is. If that's the case, should someone who got paid minimum wage 50 years ago be able to go, actually, I got paid £2 an hour or whatever, it's probably less than £2 an hour 50 years ago. I actually want the whatever it is these days kind of thing. Instead, I want you to go back and push all that up retrospectively. I mean, retroactive steps are wonderful, but not necessarily always the case. You can't really shoehorn that sort of stuff in. So I agree with the sentiment of that. There is the nuance of this is coming down in price for people that have effectively pre-ordered it and still haven't played it, and that's the bit that is difficult. If it's a case of, if it's something that you've never downloaded and never installed, I think the grey area is the fact that if you've got the PS4 element, which isn't pre-ordered, it is available and people have been playing it. But if you only purchase that for the PS5 version and you haven't done anything else, that's where the difficulty is. So Asim's nod towards the PR side of things. The reason that's even a conversation is because it's not the norm. This has probably found a loophole, not a loophole, because a loophole is usually something that you exploit, but a flaw in the system in terms of that game has come out and then been had parts of it delayed, and there's a new generation thing. This is not going to be a problem next year because there's going to be no next gen stuff. Everything will just be the gen and last gen. But at this point in time, something that was made for last gen that's moved to next gen and then had a delay and then incorporated in PS Plus, but only the next gen element, which should have come out last year but is now coming out this year, a long time the same. It's the amount of variables in there as what has led to this situation.
Well, maybe they had this planned in for February all along. like this talks would have happened maybe 6 or 7 months ago, with the expectation that the PlayStation 5 version would have actually come in November when it was due to originally arrive. But obviously, it's been delayed 2 months, and now we're having to wait for it until February. This February slot was taken months and months ago, and it's just highly unfortunate that they've had to delay it, and they've had to try and obviously polish it and trying to get it to a point where it's actually worthwhile putting onto the PlayStation Plus, because it's happened before where games have not ended up going on PlayStation Plus for whatever reason. So I think they're just trying to make sure it's in a playable position before it hits the PlayStation Plus, and it's just highly unfortunate that the game is actually going to be playable from the pre-order that you would have had maybe later on last year or when the PlayStation 5 came out, and it's just a massive coincidence, shall we say, for the sake of this, that the game is going to be playable from your PlayStation 5 pre-order as well as going on to PlayStation Plus at the same time.
Yeah,
it's we don't know the ins and outs of it, and they're never going to come out and say this is the reason why. But yeah, it's just the way it is at this moment in time, unfortunately. And I do believe, like Gary just said, there is a difference. So a sweatshirt is a physical item. If you bought a physical copy of the game and keep it sealed, you can get a refund for that. But if you was to pre-order this, if you was to walk into game, for instance, and pre-order it, paid in full, would you get your money back for that as well if you've still got your receipt? I don't know how that works nowadays, because a lot of people just pre-order the stuff on digital. But yeah, it's one of them things. I don't know the ins and outs of everything nowadays, but I agree with, if you've got a physical item, you can take it back. That's the unfortunate thing about pre-ordering.
The only thing is, though, is it's like buying a physical item and having two parts of it in the same package. But to get to, like, one part you can't use until later down the line. One part you can use now, but you have to open the package effectively to get both of it. So if you, can't even think of a good example, so I'm just going to say a two-piece suit, a jacket and some pants. You're not going to use the jacket until that dinner or whatever that you're doing next month. But the pants, yeah, I want to wear them now. Yeah, nice. I'll put the pants on to go well with the shirt, or blah, 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 whatever. So you open up the bag, you get the pants out and you wear them. The jacket is still separately sealed, untouched, and you can prove that that's not been touched. But is it the fact that you've opened that packet now? Do you lose the rights on the jacket because you've opened the outer bag? And that's kind of where the nuances are for it here. If you just bought it for the jacket and you haven't even taken the pants out of the bag, they're still all sealed, everything's still sealed, but then there's stuff away from that. Do you know, I'll ditch the jacket analogy now, because I'll make it's already a confusing conversation anyway. But is it right for people that have pre-ordered and not touched, not downloaded something, to then have it delayed to the point where they've paid for something that they haven't touched and it's now free for other people? That's the from a PR perspective, and completely ignoring the impact this could have on Remedy and 505's bottom line, I would fix that. I would genuinely fix that. If I was 505 and Remedy and I could absorb the cost for that, because I imagine the number of people that bought it and haven't played it won't actually be that high. If I could, from a PR perspective, I would say it doesn't really set a precedent, because of the difficulty of that situation, the rarity of that situation, that specific set of events that led to that situation happening, the chances of that happening again are pretty slim. So I wouldn't see that as setting a specific precedent. I would absorb for those fans that have bought it in advance. That would speak volumes for them. For anyone that just missed out on saving a couple of quid because they bought it in sale last month, tough shit. You bought a sale item. That's just, it is what it is. If you bought it and you played it and you liked it, but now you're just pissed off because you've spent 20 quid that you didn't have to spend, that you know in hindsight, well, that's tough. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but it exists. The phrase hindsight exists because that's what it is. So yeah, if they could absorb to help them with PR in that situation, I would absorb for those few. But absolutely, anyone that's bought it and just is pissed that it's free, nah. Anyone that bought Rise of the Tomb Raider last year, do they get a refund? Because, you know, it's free for everyone now. Nope. So it doesn't matter if it was last year or last week. You bought it, you played it, you enjoyed it, and now it's coming cheaper for other people. Get over it. Woosah.
That's literally the only thing that I have a problem with this, is that if you've pre-ordered it, then you haven't been able to play it up until now. If you've been able to play it in November when it was originally meant to come out, then that's absolutely perfect. That's fine. That is genuinely tough shit. But the fact that you still haven't been able to play it. But if you played the PlayStation 4 version, you've kind of taken the packaging off at that point, haven't you? You put the disc in, you played it, metaphorically.
Yeah.
But if you was literally bought the PlayStation 5 version with the intent to play it and you haven't been able to yet, and the first opportunity that you're going to get is the same people who get it for free, that's the bit that I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I agree. And even if you open... I only played the PS4 version because I thought I was going to get the PS5. I'm sorry. You played it. You literally said, I only played it, which means that you did play it, which means that your rights on that have gone. It's shit, but that's the way the cookie crumbles for me in that sort of way. Buying a small t-shirt with the expectation of losing weight. One day I'll wear that France 98 shirt. Yeah, I know that.
Why do you think they're in there?
Asim says it's definitely coming to a grey area. Agree, but bending to this would open a can of worms for the future. People want AAA games as part of PS Plus, but if companies see this situation and call for refunds of copies already purchased, played or not, then they'll stay away and just discount price wise instead. See, I don't agree with that one. I feel if people, you can't just have a game. I mean, who's going to go out and buy games and then not play them and sit on them for months and then when it comes into PS Plus, ask for the money back? It's kind of a bizarre situation in that one. So I would have to disagree on that one. I feel that anyone bought it bought it earlier on in the month and didn't play on it at all could be like, okay, well I bought it for the 505 PS5 update thing. Yeah, of course I did. I mean, maybe they didn't. They probably didn't. They just want their money back. But I think you kind of take that hit there. But if you bought it last month and you played the PS4 version ahead of playing on PS5, well, that's tough tit. That's tough tit. That just is what it is. You played it, you broke it, you opened it, the seal's been broken, you get off. And I don't think, like I say, I don't think it sets a precedent there, though, in that sense. I feel it's such a unique set of events. I think it would do. If people just pissed them on because it was going free, then it is what it is. But it's that delay. There was already a little bit of stuff there, but from their perspective, I feel like, yeah, it would be good for them to try and, rather than, well, not feeding the flames, put the fire out, let's put it that way. Slim Rock says there are also so many people who wouldn't bother or wouldn't know they can get a refund. So just fix it from a PR point for the people complaining. Fix it for the ones, because a lot of people will just be complaining anyway. A lot of people will see people being naturally pissed, and a lot of people will be just like, well, I want my 25 quid back. So yeah, I want the money as well. Yeah, get my pitchfork, and where's the bandwagon? We all need to jump on it. So, not fix everyone, just fix the ones that are your hardcore, and they will be able to see, like, if you say, okay, send us an email and we will look at it, almost like Cyberpunk did. Send us emails to wefuckedup@cdprojectred.com or whatever the email address was. It probably wasn't that. They do that. They could probably see that, okay, this person bought Control, then bought all the DLCs, and then bought that edition. If we shit on them at this point in time, yeah, they might not buy anything else, but if we give them the love, it could be good from a PR perspective. But that's like all speculation as to what could happen going forward, so I don't need to go down that road. Didn't they refund last month's PS5 Plus game? That one was that Maneater? But they did that ahead of time. They refunded it for everyone, regardless of whether you asked for a refund or not. So that's slightly different. I don't know if it was Maneater. I'm going to assume it was, but they just decided that it was going to be a game that was charged for, and it would probably have more success being a free-to-play game, and then going from that way. So that's kind of on them to do that one. I fucking bought Cricket 19 full price, and it was in the Humble Bundle once. Shocker! Says Chappers. Yeah, exactly. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Unless you study history, then you're told to ignore it. This is the gaming community, Graham. Lol. Well, that's true. That is true. That's true. Thanks to PS Plus free games, when The Last of Us 1 came out, I finally decided to try it, and since then, it's my favourite game ever. I mean, that's the thing. There's probably someone somewhere that purchased The Last of Us and then didn't play again. If they started asking for a refund because they've never played it, no. You bought it a million years ago. You've not used it. This is slightly different in terms of it's not out yet, kind of thing. So that's where the nuances in that sort of way. People haven't been able to play it, so there's a slight difference in that bit there. But yeah, it is a great game. I enjoyed it. I restreamed it again last year. It's good. It's good. If they do it with this, guarantee if something similar happens again, people will point out and be like, "But they did it." Oh yeah, they will. They will. They will. And so say doing it for PR, it will come back up as negative PR for someone else, because then they'll be like, they actually gave everyone their money back, and it's like, no, they only gave the people that had already bought it, hadn't opened it, hadn't played it, and wanted to request the refund before it actually came out on PS Plus, kind of stuff like that. They're like, no, they did it. And so, yeah, people will take it out of context, I agree. Madge, good morning. Oh, hello. Ish, actually, let me retry that again. It sounds more like this.
Hello.
Yeah. Ish, super busy today. I see you guys must be busy too with the hard-ish start time today. Yeah, busy day. Destruction All-Stars, that was. Oh, yeah, there you go. I'm mixing Maneater and Destruction All-Stars up, but yeah, that same sort of thing. It's the same logic I just kind of said. One's a game that looks a bit naff and nobody would buy, and the other one's a game that could be a bit naff that nobody would buy. So there you go. Both could be really good if you didn't pay for it. So yeah, same sort of thing. Isn't Destruction All Stars on for 2 months? On for 2 months, and they're going to ask you for £70. I don't believe that is the case, but I could be wrong. In my opinion, it's the same with everything else. It's the risk you take when thinking of buying anything. Granted, it's also annoying, but it's also tough shit. You bought it when you bought it. Now live with it. Amen. Stop buying things before they're out. Was there a reason to pre-order a game that has been already out for X number of years? Well, that's the thing.
Yes and no. I think it's a lot more appealing for people to know that you can play it on your brand new console, because there isn't that many PlayStation 5 or next gen console games out at this moment in time. So that definitely is a game that, if you wanted to play something in 4K HDR, whatever your PlayStation could put out, then that is definitely a very, very good game to be able to kick your collection off with. Especially if it's not one that you wanted to pick it up on PlayStation 4 but never did. I agree with that. If it wasn't a PlayStation 5 version.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, thinking Cyberpunk. If you've paid for Cyberpunk, Phantom Fangs, thank you for the follow as well. Welcome. I think this would be a bad precedent to set personally, says Phantom Fangs. That's the thing. I'm kind of responding to. Cyberpunk is out and doesn't have the PS5 patch yet, so people. Literally, I'm doing the physical edition of what we are, physical version of what we're talking about. I have the box for Cyberpunk here, PS4, sealed, wrapped, sat in a drawer, unopened. And it's not going to be opened until the PS5 version comes out. I've paid for it purely for the PS5 version. That has obviously been delayed and is probably going to be later than expected, even though they didn't put a date on it. If that comes to PS Plus at the same time, I would be a little bit aggrieved at that, because I haven't played it, I haven't opened it, I've got a game that hasn't been used, and it's now free by the time that I actually can play it. It is a little bit annoying. Like I say though, there are complications in the fact that includes a cross-generation, a re-release of an original game, and a delay to the cross-generational content. So there are complex nuances in there that interrupt that precedent. So I don't feel this is a one-size-fits-all like sticky plaster situation in terms of, okay, well that'll fix it, bosh. That's the steadfast approach. I think this is not a steadfast event. So I wouldn't be against some leniency against certain people, i.e. the ones that have bought it, have never played it, have never intended to play it until this comes out. That may be, but yeah, this is a very unique situation. Anyway, unless terms have changed for PS Plus, you will be free if subbed. Yeah, I thought so. But you couldn't play it on your brand new console if you bought it when it actually came out. But you could have played it on your brand new console if you bought it when it actually came out. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, though. If you waited to buy it when it actually came out, then you'd have got it for free. So that's the whole conversation. It's like, I've given you my money early to make sure that I've got it ready for when I can play it on the PS5. Whereas in reality, I shouldn't have supported you. That's the consumer argument. Is some people have played it and they've enjoyed it, and or some people might have gone, okay, I'll just wait for the next gen stuff. You've broken the seal, it's fine, but if you haven't, then for that specific situation, there's a conversation I believe to be had. No, it's free until May, then you have to pay for it. Just had a look, free until on PS5 until April the 5th. As if, which one is that? Destruction All Stars? Are we talking?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, giving up on that. I probably won't even bother downloading that then if it turns into a game that's no longer free. Get out of here. Anyway, from one video game that could be an absolute disaster and really disappointing and nobody would ever play and has absolutely no history whatsoever in the world of video games, to another, let's talk about Resident Evil. Yay! Look at his face. I'm only joking. But we are going to talk about Resident Evil.
Right.
That whole hook was not applicable. But Andy Robinson at VGC says that videos offer first look at Resident Evil Reverse as multiplayer beta goes live. Is it reverse or is it just reverse? Because I keep saying reverse as in like to emphasize the re and the verse. Well, reverse
question.
it is.
I apologize. Yeah.
Players turn into monsters after being defeated. Okay, Resident Evil's Reverse Beta has gone live on consoles for users who pre-registered, with new videos offering an extensive look at how the multiplayer game works. The online-only title is billed as a celebration of Resident Evil's 25th anniversary and comes bundled for free with the upcoming Resident Evil Village. The game has players controlling various Resident Evil characters in a 6-person deathmatch. Footage reveals that players must collect virus samples littered around the map, which in turn increases their damage and accuracy. Once killed, players are transformed into various monsters and can continue attacking other players. The type of monster you transform into is also determined by how many virus samples you collected before being defeated. Get enough and you can become a tyrant. Each character has unique weapons and skills, while the comic book style visual filter can be switched on and off via the graphics menu should players prefer a more traditional look. Resident Evil Village's May the 7th, 2021 release date was confirmed during a special Resident Evil showcase last week, where Capcom also announced the release of a demo on PlayStation 5. Which you can see on YouTube, by the way, if you want to see the Resident Evil demo played through by none other than Mr. B-Bay. Then all 28 minutes of that demo are on Twitch, youtube.com/icecreamuploads. But first look at Reverse. Have you looked?
Yes, I watched this trailer I watched this beta gameplay this morning when I was trying to find this article. I did actually try to sign up to the beta of this, and unfortunately I didn't get picked. But yeah, I had actually had a look at the 5-minute or 6-minute gameplay footage in this, and my mind is still kind of, this is going to be absolutely toilet. I mean, the concept is a lot better than I originally thought it would be. So I'm just I'll put it top level stuff. So you pick one of 6 survivors when you go to boot up the game. Then you have to stay. It's the person who has the most points after 5 minutes. So when you kill someone, you get some points. When you evolve, you get some points. When you pick something up, i.e. the virus samples, you get points. So it's the person who ever finishes at the top of the table ends up winning. So if I was to pick up, say, 6 virus vacuum things, then I would inevitably turn into Nemesis or Mr. X. If I don't pick any up, I just turn up into one of the molded or some little small blob thing. So yeah, it's in your best interest to go around, kill as many people as you can, whilst also collecting the virus samples at the same time. It looks a hell of a lot better than I thought it would do from the small gameplay clips that we got from the showcase. I don't think it's going to last very long. I think it's just going to... It's better than... At this moment in time, from what I've seen, it looks miles better than Resistance, and this is something that probably would keep my attention for a very small amount of time, but a hell of a lot longer than Resistance did. But, I mean, it could evolve into something that's really, really good. This is obviously just a 5-minute gameplay thing that we've seen. But, yeah, it looks okay. My opinion is still... It's probably going to be toilet overall and isn't going to keep people's interest. I still definitely think that we should have got some Outbreak-ish kind of game, but for what it is, it's a free game that you're going to get. It's probably it's okay.
I think I've just Claire Redfield closed beta gameplay. There we go. I'll just hit play on it for anyone that wants to see it. You may have heard me chuckle midway through Bibby there. I wasn't doing that on purpose. I just got caught off by one of the comments, which genuinely tickled me. I was reading through the comments, and Phantom Fang says, "I'm pretty sure it's reverse," but then as you flick down through. Slimrock TV says re-verse when the crowd say "Bolt selector." That's the bit that caught me off guard because in my head I was reading it and yeah, there you go. So that me chuckling out loud was me getting caught off guard by that. So GG.
One thing I don't understand though is that they've used the template of Chris Redfield from Resident Evil 7, which everybody hated. Like, it doesn't look like Chris Redfield. It could have been anybody. No one knew who it was.
Is that the big muscly
until he said that it was? No. They've put the slimline, they put the trim down, anorexic Chris Redfield in, rather than the big beefy one that we've seen in Resident Evil 8, the game that this is going to be bundled up with. It looks nothing like the one that's in the game. They've chosen the one from Resident Evil 7 instead, which I find bizarre. Hopefully that'll be a model that they've changed. But if you scroll down a little bit, Graham, and just press play on the second video, but then instantly pause it straight away again. You'll see there to the left-hand side above Claire, next to Jack, is the model from Resident Evil 7. And it's not Chris Redfield. I don't understand why they've done that.
I don't think they know.
They don't know.
Okay, we'll take that off the screen. Jump into the chat then. Robert Daniel says, how could they get the title wrong in the first paragraph? Damn. R-E capitals, not R and then lowercase e. Asim responding to Slimrock TV's... Craig David lyrics says, or re-verse, when the crowd say bow, umbrella. There you go, we'll have that, we'll take that. Supposedly no tutorial, etc. And Lord said there is tons to find out about the gameplay still. Some said it's decent, a lot said stuff like the knockdown, etc. is terrible. Remake Outbreak, bruh, says Enix. I don't think Baby's a fan of Outbreak. I think he said probably the most toilet element that's ever been toilet in toilet games.
I mean, that sounds exactly like something I would say.
Yeah, there you go. So, nailed it. Gary says they should reverse the decision to bring this out. Slim Rock says it was hoping it was that caused the chuckle. It was. It was. Reverse. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Iceman there. Yeah, with a Casper slide for show. I'm a stickler for correct capitalization. This is literally the first I've heard of this. I've not played a Resident Evil game since the first one. I played two remake. I've still got 3 remake on the... I can't even call it a pile of shame or a mountain of shame. It's like a planet of shame at this point. I have a planet of shame, so it's somewhere in that atmosphere in there. But Resident Evil Reverse Beta has gone live. Mixed opinions. Jordan was talking about it yesterday. When we were playing PUBG on stream, and yeah, his initial reactions were it looked a bit shit, and exactly as I just said then, just bring out Outbreak. As I said last week when we were talking about the announcements after the Resident Evil showcase, I don't know. So why are they not just bringing Outbreak? If that's what they need, why are they persisting with these things? And why have they put something that potentially, I don't know, could be ass in Reverse? Why have they tagged that to 25 years and not gone with something from the 25 years that people are calling for? Why do this?
All very good points, Graham.
There you go. Anyway, someone else that has kind of reversed, and it's not really a reversed, it's more of the opposite. It's probably moving forward. A game that has been criticised for not having much content now has new content. As Tom Ivan at VGC says, Marvel's Avengers confirms new DLC. PS5 and Xbox Series X and S reveal plans. Fresh Hawkeye content and current gen versions to be shown in mid-February. So Crystal Dynamics is gearing up to reveal the latest Marvel Avengers DLC alongside the delayed PS5 and Xbox Series X and S versions of the game. The company said on Thursday that it plans to show off the second part of its 2 Hawkeye story arc, which will conclude with Clint Barton DLC alongside the current gen versions of the game on February the 16th. The first part of the Hawkeye story, Kate Bishop, Taking Aim, launched in December 2020, picking up shortly after the conclusion of Marvel's Avengers Reassemble campaign. It introduced a new villain, the Super Adaptoid, whose skills and weapons mimic the Avengers' attacks. The Kate Bishop DLC was originally scheduled to launch in October 2020, while the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of the game were planned for release in November. However, both were delayed so that Crystal Dynamics could focus on fixing various issues with the existing game, which had contributed to a dwindling player count. Publisher Square Enix later confirmed that Marvel's Avengers failed to turn a profit during its launch month following slow initial sales. Square Enix president Yosuke Matsuda said in November that the company hoped to make up for the game's poor early performance with the release of significant amount of new content in the 6-month period ending March 31st, 2021. Crystal Dynamics also provided an update on the future of the Tomb Raider series this week. In a video outlining its plans for the franchise's 25th anniversary, the studio revealed that Lara Croft's next adventure will unify the timelines in Core Design's original Tomb Raider games and its own reboot trilogy. However, franchise game director Will Kerslake also warned fans that the studio doesn't have plans for a major game announcement in the near future. So Tomb Raider news in there, which is nice. But Marvel Avengers gets new DLC plus PS5 and Xbox Series consoles updates. Thoughts, Bib?
Did you see this coming?
Yes, loosely yes. Did I see it coming anytime soon? I don't know. I'd kind of forgotten about it, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me. A game of that caliber, that scale, and that budget, both in terms of development and licensing, getting extra content does not surprise me. And for a game that failed to turn a profit despite having all of that, that build up, that marketing spend, which I don't feel was probably the best. We had a show last year in terms of Marvel Avengers. Their outward marketing, they did well to work with influencers and content creators, but beyond that, so the guys doing the content and influencer outreach stuff kind of nailed it, but the people that were doing the rest of the real world marketing kind of didn't. I don't know whether that was just COVID or not. I mean, in fairness to them, this was one of the first games, or one of the bigger games in that earlier period to come out of a COVID world, so maybe they didn't know how to adapt to that. But my question isn't about could the game be good. A lot of people said the game is good. It's just the ongoing content just wasn't there, or the ongoing aims weren't there. The quality of the game in itself was decent. My question, though, is can this new DLC and the game coming out for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S, is that enough to bring in the people that started and didn't stick with it, or just didn't try it? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think personally they've got a roadmap, and that they had everything set out for them that they wanted to try and achieve with this game. Launch, and then the PlayStation, the new gen patch, and then a couple of the DLCs, a couple of the character arcs, and then build up from that. I still think that they will fulfill their first part of the map. I don't know what the map is. I don't know whether or not anyone's ever seen their roadmap for it. But I think this will probably get supported for maybe 18 months, 2 years, and then they'll see where they go from there. Because we don't know how big this player base is now. I've just seen Tito in there saying, I enjoyed the game. Sadly, the end game is very flawed. I don't have any hope for it, and I don't care for it anymore. This is a brand new version of the game coming out for new consoles, as well as a bigger character arc and the DLC that's going to come alongside it. So there will be more content for you to be able to do. If you can't entice the people who've already got to the end game to come back in and play a new part of the game, then what hope have you got? I'd love to be able to see the player base that's actually still playing this now. I mean, Twitch is never really the best gauge in the world for how many people are playing it. It's just obviously how many people are watching it and streaming it. But no idea. I didn't play this game. Obviously, you played this and you streamed this on the channel when it came out. So my opinion is kind of flawed on this one. But do you think then it's going to be difficult to try and get people? It's got 10 people watching it on Twitch. Marvel's Avengers. It's got 10 people. It's got 201,000 followers. So people were super excited for this game. That's a very good gauge. There was a lot of people excited for it that have actually followed the panel on Twitch. But at this moment in time, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 people streaming it, and there's 10 people watching it.
We have 3 times the amount of people watching our Friday podcast than are watching Marvel's Avengers, one of the major releases on the next gen consoles over the last year. That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That sounds a wonderful stick the boot in statement, and I knew what I was saying when I was saying it. It's a shit statement because the game didn't do very well, but it's better than what I've just kind of led it up to be in that soundbite. But the truth is that soundbite is still applicable. There is still only 10 people watching it, 8 people streaming it, because it's a single player game effectively that's got multiplayer stuff tacked onto the end of it. The single player is what most people will have gone in for. And once they've played it and streamed it, people aren't going to watch it and play it and stream it again and again and again. Some people are, but it's going to drop off. So that doesn't surprise me. That it has dropped off massively. I wouldn't have expected it to be maybe at that level yet. Yeah, I mean, Tito's comments, though, about... where was it? The comment... Was it Tito that you said it? I can't find the comment. I enjoyed the game. Sadly, the game is very flawed. I don't have any hope for it, and I don't care anymore. If Tito's played it and that's his opinion, they have a difficult mountain to climb. Because if the end game is very flawed, and then the ongoing content doesn't inspire people to stick with it, bringing in new DLC, is that just new story mode, new single player campaigns? Will that change the end game, and will that give you a suitable grind? If it won't, then it's not going to be enough. If it is, though, then they need to spend, as brutal as that is, they need to fully seed this again. They need to relaunch. Yeah. That's the way I put it, in terms of marketing campaigns, bus stops, bus sides. I know people aren't using buses and stuff anymore, but that whole sort of out-of-home advertising plus in-home advertising mechanic, they need to go for stage 2. Do it all again. Get the shrouds and whoever at the top of the view accounts, they all need to be back on it, playing it again.
Yeah. I imagine it's probably going to cost them a lot more this time to try and bring them back in and try and resurrect the game again. But I imagine, like you say, with they will try and bring influencers back in now. I think now is the time. If they're looking at trying to get more people to be able to, I mean, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X versions of those, do they have to pay for that DLC? Is that just sort of something that's going to be available within their already purchased version? It's just upscaling it and then adding the DLC onto the end of it. I'm not sure. I don't know whether or not the DLC includes the new PS5 and Xbox versions of it. That may be something to look at. But if there's only 10 people watching it on Twitch, again, it's not the best gauge in the world, but they did have 201,000 people follow that particular game on Twitch at one point or another. Those people have gone to the trouble of clicking follow, which you can do. It's free, by the way, over on this channel. But trying to get those people invested back into this product again after a lackluster launch, are the influencers going to want to take their time to come back in? I mean, obviously, if they're getting paid, if they're getting paid for it, absolutely, it's absolutely worth their time. Is it going to be worth it from a business point of view to be able to pay those people? I have no idea. But it's a massive. All I know is that this is an uphill battle that they're going to be facing at this point in time, which is a shame, really. I'd seen Madge's comment saying, "Was this too little, too late?" Because they brought it out it got brought out so far after the film Endgame had came out. This was like maybe 18 months after that. If they'd tied it in with the movie franchise ending, would this have done better? I imagine so. I think riding that wave, I think it would have done a lot better. Then again, the gameplay would still be of tedious gameplay back then. So I don't know. I think they've got a massive uphill battle to climb with this one.
The other thing, I mean, there is a good point in the end game and that spacing, but is that also a saving grace? Could it have been worse when you realise that you've just had Endgame and you've lost that 20 years of cinematic build-up? It's finished, it's done now. Obviously, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is progressing, but in essence, that whole everything that's come has kind of finished that arc, and new arcs are starting. could that actually be a good thing? Because the arc that you'd pick up with the Avengers game is different voices, different faces. Could that actually be a saving grace? There is that element too, but I think you are right. I do feel getting it around that time. There's a reason Star Wars Battlefront comes out September, October, November, and then the film comes out December. There's a reason Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order comes out September, October, November, and the film comes out December. Is because they realise one feeds the other. So I am right in saying that Avengers was delayed, am I? Because they probably did aim to hit that earlier, and then were uphill since then. Tito says they could have made gear a lot more rewarding, affecting how you looked and also how your character played, but a lot of it feels inconsequential to casual players. Tito says, I disagree, but the fact they're disconnected from the film... talking to Madge, by the way. I disagree, but the fact they're disconnected from the film and how the characters look and sound was odd. I think there was enough lingering interest in the franchise. Yeah, that's the point that I was kind of just going over then. All Avengers DLC is free for the first 12 months, including the next-gen upgrade. Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
That's a good shout, then. I mean, you've still got this game, Graham. Do you see yourself jumping back into this?
I actually really enjoyed it. I only played what was basically the tech demo, the first 2 hours or whatever it is, where it kind of forces you to do a bit as the Hulk and a bit as Iron Man, a bit as Captain America. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, so I will like to go in and play this again.
This will be perfect for your front room game with your headset on, surely.
Yeah, 3D audio, everything turned up to the max. Bosh. Me and Danielle, in December, when we were full on housebound for COVID, did the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline, start to finish, everything in time order. So I'm very much on board for Marvel superheroes. So I would love to play through this game. So hopefully they can draw everyone back in, and I will buy it at that point in time where we get the full relaunch. Yeah, it's out next gen. Everything's wonderful and everything's new, and they get the No Man's Sky effect. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Smacks of Marvel Heroes again. A rough launch, a free-to-play game, rebranded and still died after not making a profit. People love Marvel Heroes, says Enix. People have moved on now. There is so much to consume in games, so unless something is incredible, people will move on to something else. I do believe that they have a little bit of a window, though, with the next gen. There's not that much to play that's next gen right now. So if they can get it out quickly, then yeah, they've got the next gen space. They can do, they're a truly next gen game, nice, as opposed to a PS4 game that will play on the next gen consoles. So there is a little bit of a leeway there, but I agree. I loved it, but not enough. We're told Enix. I played over 1,000 hours into it. That's Marvel Heroes, by the way. Iceman says, to be honest, though, with Star Wars games release times, it falls within the Christmas run-up as well. Exactly. The amount of time they spent creating the players and making sure each feel different is amazing. Just the mission structure, loot, and replayability is lacking. Yeah, and that's why I probably enjoyed it so much, because in that first 2 hours, that's all you get. Different characters, different attacks, different moves, being able to zip around and fly with one person, but then absolutely just fucking Hulk smashing with another one kind of thing. Yeah, complete like saturation of what you're going to get for the rest of the game. If I'd continued playing, maybe it would have become a bit like, but yeah, at that point. Asim says, I'll buy it just before it comes to PS Plus and get a refund. GG. I was excited for Avengers game, and then I saw it in action, and all hype ended. Even 50% off wasn't enough to entice me. I fear the game is doomed to close within a year. I think there's a huge potential for that. My worry, though, is there's definitely a good Marvel game within that game, but there's definitely the potential for a great Marvel Avengers game, or great cinematic crossovers in that sort of sense. I mean, obviously we're talking about James Bond, which is a cinematic crossover. There's a huge potential for video games to be made into movies, but there's a huge potential for movies to be made into video games. And I don't mean shitty movie ports that we've seen in the past, like proper video games. And I feel like the Marvel universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe especially, has the huge potential for video games there. If this dies, is that another death knell for that for a long period of time? Because the amount of money that you'd have to spend to get those, and then those licenses, and then you look at the precedents, the fact that Marvel Avengers collapsed and didn't really do anything, that means that you're less likely to see this kind of thing going forward, which would be a shame. Anyway,
I mean, this visually could look great, and it could put something in there. It could change the way that the whole game was. I mean, it for me, it may stink of the Destiny situation again. Like when Destiny 2 came out, it had less content than when Destiny 1 finished. Hopefully, this will continue to do something. It needs to kind of come thick and fast at this point to try and keep it. As soon as the DLC lands, people start to play it again. Already be working on bringing out your next DLC a couple of months after. If this is a true live service game, it needs to kind of come thick and fast. So whether or not that'll be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, just trying to keep people interested. As soon as the numbers start to spike back up again and people wanted to play this, just get the next one out as fast as you can and see where you can go from there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Hit it, strike while the iron is hot. If it get a spike, get the next gen stuff in, and then push on from there. Yeah, that's
Mike's gone again.
Oh, Pandan Wally. Oh no! As if right at the end of the show and it shit itself. Hello, testing. Right at the end of the show. Yeah. Okay. Hold screen. Sorry, Bibby's going to treat us to a Wonderwall. Nice.
I just finished. I nearly choked on my drink then. So yeah. Audibly. I don't know if that's a word.
Bound Down Wally. Have I gone? Bound Down Wally. I don't know whether you guys could hear Bibby then, but the audio kind of collapsed on Discord at the same time, so you didn't even get Bibby answering questions as far as I knew through that. So, yeah, nice. Fun end to the stream. Lovely. We do have one article left, though. Before that, I was just about to jump through the chat. Were you saying something as it went off then? I can't remember where we were up to.
Yeah, we're just talking about how video games sometimes can be pretty cool.
Oh, nice. That's a good point. I agree. Nice. Where did we get to? Gary says, it was the BTEC look of the characters that put me off buying it. Jordan says, don't be dissing BTEC. I used to teach it, which explains a lot. No, I agree. They did look like poorly invested character models to an extent. You look at how well designed, almost over designed some things are, and they almost looked a bit like they could have put more personality rather than just going. It's like a pop vinyl is the main features of a character squashed down into a simplified version. It was like that, but not in pop vinyl form, still in human form. Like, okay, Tony Stark, well, we'll give him a funky goatee, and that's it. Nice, okay, there we go. Yeah. Hulk, make it big and green. Nice, okay, next one. So no, I agree.
I think it is going to be quite difficult though to be able to try and like make them relevant, shall we say? Because it's like what DC have got now with like the new Suicide Squad game coming out. Margot Robbie is obviously what we deem to be Harley Quinn now, but then her Harley Quinn character in the game looks nothing like Margot Robbie. So where do you go from that? We've watched Chris Evans become Captain America over the years, so everyone who tries to portray what Captain America looks like now will just expect it to look like Chris Evans. Is a very difficult thing to be able to try and accomplish now because we've just got it ingrained in our head. Same with Iron Man, you just think Robert Downey Jr. How do we move on from this now? It's not like we've had like 4 different Spider-Mans in like the last 10 years or the last 15 years.
I think it's kind of, you almost have to do the Daniel Craig James Bond. Every James Bond tried to be the same. They're cool, they're suave, they're sophisticated, they're very they're very formal and blah 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 there. And then you've got Daniel Craig, who was this guy that was a bit more rough around the edges, like almost like finding his feet before that. I think that kind of vibe of characters, like you almost build the characters up again. You have to start from the top, whereas they just kind of went in with their established. Okay, I'm Tony Stark, and I'm very confident, and it was like there was no learning the ropes. With Iron Man, like you say, over 20 years, you got to see him get out of a cave covered in literal iron to be some sort of like metal polymer flying through the skies kind of thing. Whereas that didn't have any of that in it. So, I mean, there is downsides to building the story of every character as you go as well, because that they had 20 years to do that. They had one game to do that. So, difficult. It is difficult. Anyway, Lake says, back in 2017 when I bought my PS4 Slim, I also bought the digital version of Until Dawn. Within like 2 days after that, it came into PSN Plus for free. But I didn't get a refund. Well, sucks to be you.
Well, to be fair though, you waited 2 years to buy the game. You'd expect that to be in the PlayStation Plus. It came out in 2015, so more feel you for buying it 2 years later, man. I mean, you waited 2 years to play a fucking fantastic game for a start.
Asim says, "Yup, Gary, spot on. This game should have had me buying day one. Literally the target market. Yet, despite being interested pre-launch, all of what I saw gameplay-wise and then played with the beta put me off greatly. Generic as hell. Okay, but that is it. Which is kind of what you were saying when I was playing through it on the stream as well. Decent, just decent. I wonder if they avoided Avengers film character likenesses to avoid image rights. Potentially. Although, I imagine some of that will have been bought in. It's probably more a case of not so much the image rights, but if it looks like Chris Evans and it moves like Chris Evans, but then it talks like Steve Irwin, then it's kind of a bit weird. Good eye, mate. Bonza. I think it was also outside the look for me. Gameplay was just repetitive and generic. Okie dokie. Okay, let's jump forward. I will leave the chat as it is. If I've missed anything, then feel free to bring it back up. But I will jump into the final news article there because we are rapidly running out of time. And this one, there we go, doesn't apply to everyone, but it does apply to me, so suckers. PlayStation 5 owners are being sent a surprise freebie via email, says Ewan Moore from the Gaming Bible. Okay, there. If you're one of the lucky SOBs that secured a PlayStation 5 via Amazon UK, then now might be a good time to check your emails. The online retailer has been sending out unexpected discount codes to anyone who bought the next-gen console via the site. Codes that'll net you a handsome 25% off 1 year membership. It doesn't actually, does it say? Yeah, it doesn't actually say a 1 year membership of PS Plus, PSN. It didn't actually say that in that first paragraph. But as reported by Push Square, Amazon UK is offering a tasty little discount that brings the price of an annual subscription to £37.49. I happen to be one of the lucky SOBs that secure a PS5 on Amazon and can confirm that I've had an email offering me the chance to redeem 25% off my subscription. The offer ends at midnight on January the 31st. However, so you'll need to get in quick if you want to take the advantage. And of course, if you've already got a subscription, you can use this code to immediately stack and get a cheaper year next year. So there you go. Confirmation, instead of $49.99, $37.49, but we've moved it right to the end of the article because the chances are most people probably didn't get one. So it's a good offer that's just not available to many people. So there you go. Don't look directly at the beam, kid. What? Magic Man says, freebie? Amazon. Well, that's me out of the running poop. Yeah, that's the thing. I got this when I ordered it, says Jordan. Yeah, same too. Same with mine. It came before the actual console did. But Gary says, it isn't 12 months PS Plus from shop to like £39 anyway. Pretty much. Let me check my Amazon purchase. I'm not sure if I'll be able to load it up. But Amazon, in their Black Fridays and their discounts, PSN, PS Plus, whatever, usually is included within that. Okay, it passed 2021, 2020 even. Yeah. PS Plus from Amazon. Guess how much that cost me on the 21st of November? Well, the discount that is available right now will take it down to £37.49, and buying it from Amazon in Black Friday, £37.49. So if you want to get that 25% discount, just wait until Amazon Prime Day or Black Friday, and the chances are you will get discounted PS Plus then anyway. So if you didn't get it, don't worry, the offers will still come, and you probably will more likely have a PlayStation by then too. So nice, a PS5 at least anyway. So that is the end of the show. Thank you everyone for sticking around from the Vern stream, and thank you everyone that usually sticks around anyway. It's a pleasure to have you all here with us on a Friday. As every other day, we do go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.-ish on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. If you do want to join us for the scoop, then feel free to hit the follow button. As we've mentioned, it's free. It doesn't cost you a penny. We are going to drop off. We usually jump on with some extra content, although I do have a call in an hour and 20 minutes, so I will not be streaming any extra content. But how about you, Bib? Will you be lingering back on the channel today at all?
Yes, I most certainly will. I'm torn as to which game to stream. This is I know me and you spoke about this last night, but I did download something last night, and it is PES related. I downloaded PES 3 on my PC from Evo Web, which is all patched up, ready in 4K. Well, the faces and wraps and all that are, and the faces, the kits, and everything looks phenomenal. So I don't know whether or not to continue with my PES 6 or start my PES 3. I'm not too sure. What do you think?
What do you guys in the chat think? Let us know. Cheers, gorgeous. Daniel just trashing the door behind me. It makes a creak as it opens now. Nice. Cheers, gorgeous.
But the PES 3 looks and plays better than what I think PES 6 looks like on my PC at this moment in time. Despite PES 6 having all like the stadiums and things like that, I do think PES 3 plays a lot better on it. I think I might go with PES 3 because it's right at the beginning of a Master League, and I think that'll probably be better because I started the other one like 2 years after the fact. So yeah, I think PES 3 is the one that we're going to run with.
Boom, there you go. PES 3 sounds good to me. Start off a new Master League story on stream. PES 3, woo! I'm excited. I've not seen this. I didn't even know this was an option. So yeah, PES 3. Just
neither did I until I was in Evo Web yesterday.
Nice. So if you want to see some PES 3, feel free to stick around in the channel. We will go offline, but Bibs will come back on with some PES 3 PC modded Master League to the tits, modded to the tits.
Let's go.
Before then, though, Bib, we do have to disappear.
Yes,
and
we do.
when we disappear, is there anything that you want to say? Before we disappear, is there anything that you want to say? Mm-hmm.
Yes, again, thank you every single one of you that have joined us this week for a fun 5-day thriller of The Scoop. But if you do want to get involved with the show as of next Monday, then there's 2 ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social medias at Ice Cream Outlets across all major social media platforms. Second way, get into our Discord. There is an area on there called The Scoop, very much like Viv did, and it's very much like Robbo does on a regular occasion, dropping some articles in there, as well as their thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions at what time on Monday, Mr. Graham Day?
Bang on the money, on the dot, on the mark, and on all of the things that mean it will be exactly at 10 a.m.
Massive-ish.
Ish. 10 a.m.-ish. Always the ish. So yeah, we'll be back at 10 a.m.-ish. I do have a call at 12 on Monday, so we need to be on fairly early-ish. We will see how that goes. Join us on Monday for then to see. But before then, obviously, come back shortly as Bib will be playing PES 3. So for me, this is probably the last time I'm going to see you this week. So until then, have yourselves a fantastic day. And stay frosty.